I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts, and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
All right, this is a special Get Thee to the Geekery edition. Geekery Market coming up Saturday, November 9th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Where's it at? The Cabarrus Arena and Events Center. 2,000 plus parking spaces. Crazy. 40,000 square feet of geeky goodness. Holy for a holies. And if you could remember, bring a canned good or non-perishable item for the second harvest food bank. But hey, one of the people making their debut was something really unique. We're really excited about this. Is Dan from Spandex Splinters. Give us a big hand. Welcome.
So Dan, actually, Matt, you discovered Dan. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, it's I just like stumbled upon you, Dan, on Instagram, Spandex Splinters. And I was like, man, that is so cool. That is so cool. And then I noticed you were going to be at was it the MiniCon earlier this year, and that Sheldon from Heroes always puts on. And there you were, and bought that beaker behind Miss Joey there. But it just was so cool because a lot of times you're on Instagram, you don't know if it's another part of the world or where the person's at. So that was just a real treat. But and I was just blown away just because you have all it's handcrafted, painted, and then you've got different sizes, so you've got different price points, which I think is really cool. But how the heck did you get into the whole thing?
It was first off, I appreciate the kind words. Thanks for it was the MiniCon's always fun to do. So
yeah.
Really, but it started maybe about 2010. I had some small children and nothing to do. So I was looking for a hobby and thought I'd try wood carving. I was like, it seemed cool. And there was a lot of like Santa Clauses and fish and stuff. And I was like, man, I can't do this. It's not what I'm interested in. So I was like, oh, like superheroes would be cool. And then I found this kind of relatively kind of simplistic way to wood carve them that I could do a bunch without spending, a ton of time doing them. And it's kind of an homage to like, if you ever read Mad Magazine in the 60s, 70s, and Don Martin had these really long faces. And I was always a fan of, like obviously Indiana Jones, and you want to always be an archaeologist and Easter Island and stuff. And it kind of melded these things together. And I just kind of came up with this idea for these totem style wood carving with just people that I like Batman and Beaker and Hellboy and those things. Those are the things I'm interested in. So that's kind of where it started.
I will say when I first saw them, they remind me a little bit of Tiki. And I love the style. So I was like, oh, that is really, really awesome. So by all means, for those listening to the podcast and not seeing things visually, go to the website and search out his Instagram and website, and you can see what he makes. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
The Tiki is kind of, so I remember out of the blue, one time I sent, if you're familiar with Saga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comic.
Yep.
So I'm in the back of issue 5. But issue 3 or something, I was like, oh, I want to make one of these and just send it to Brian K. Vaughan. And that's kind of how he described it. It was a Tiki totem style. I never thought of it that much, I just kind of did it. And he kind of described it that way. But yeah, Tiki is definitely another kind of a way to describe them.
Yeah, it's simplistic, but it's not simple. I mean, like there's parts to it. So the beaker that Matt brought home for me, it's not just one solid piece of wood. The nose comes out, the eyes, like it's three-dimensional. And I just love it. Usually it's not sitting behind me. Usually it's sitting in front of me. So while I'm working, every once in a while I look up and just be like, beep, beep, you know. So
That's one that I started doing fairly recently. And I don't know why. I love Beaker, but I was like, man, that guy would be hilarious. And anytime I make them, I don't do it often. I've maybe done 3 or 4 of them over the years, but I laugh every time I make him. I just can't stop smiling. I don't know what it is about it, but he's
he's
just
very
so
conducive to the style, isn't he?
it's ridiculous.
I definitely was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy a superhero one of these. This is gonna be awesome. And then I saw him. The same thing. I just smiled and I was like, no, I have no choice. I have to get.
Yeah.
And you were like, I think the paint's dry. I was just did them here at the show. I was like, what? This is crazy. So it's like hot off the presses. It was like, all right.
Yeah, that's the fun part about. I love conventions that you can kind of work while you're there, and it's fun to. And people, I think, like it when you're painting or I carve sometimes at Heroes Con last weekend. I carved commissions while I was there, and then painted them, and yeah, it's really fun.
So that's pretty awesome. You will actually take commissions for carving?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I take commissions. It's yeah, I work with the people and kind of steer certain ways as far as like so I have like maybe 4 different sizes kind of, and they range from just 12-inch in height to 6 to 3, and then I've even done 2-inch ones. So and then the width is kind of a little bit different, but certain characters just work better in certain dimensions, I think. So if people want something to kind of steer them towards what would work better,
yeah,
just what would look better, and of course the price points kind of go down as you go down the size, obviously. But like I do Jawas in these little 2-inch things. I wish I had one. I've got some other pieces to show, but they're little 2-inch little Jawas. They're just really funny. I don't know. People like them a lot, and they're just goofy. I don't know what it is about them. They're just little pieces of wood Jawa heads.
I don't want to get all mystical, but I really feel because wood is like a living thing that if you're happy and you're joyful when you're carving it, it kind of like imbues it with it. I feel the same way. Like I play the piano and I used to always struggle with a keyboard because I just didn't feel like it didn't like your emotions from your fingers go into the keys and it comes out and it vibrates through the wood. And I kind of feel like you could tell you were happy when you made that because it just has like a happy around it. So, but show us some stuff. I'm always excited about what else I'm going to make Matt buy for me. So,
well, I don't know. So I did Heroes Con last weekend, and Heroes Con is a good show for me because I get over the years. I've done it since I think 2011. Wow. And
have fun is when you're having fun.
I have a lot of repeat customers here locally in Charlotte, so I have people that will stop by year after year and just buy things. So that's really fun. But so I don't have a lot left, which is good and bad, I guess.
That is always a good thing after a large convention, not to have a lot of stock left.
Right, yeah, but I've got another one coming up in August, and I'm like, oh no. But I've got like a little Groot.
Oh,
so I make
cute!
Groot.
Yeah,
and he's pretty fun. I don't know. It just seems obvious to carve a wood guy out of wood. I'm not sure. But he's all right. Savage Dragon. If you guys are familiar with
Eric Larson,
yeah, he gets a big mohawk fin, and then he's got some cuts and abrasions on him and things like that. And I make all my characters grumpy because that makes me laugh.
All the fans were frowning.
There's Aang from Last Airbender. Yeah, and then I did Zuko too, obviously, and he's frowny too.
I love the frowns. I love the frowns.
The Hulk doesn't really get a frown, but he gets big teeth, obnoxious teeth. I've read a lot of Batman over the years, and Tim Sale was one of my favorite Batman artists, and he drew the Joker with
Those
these
huge teeth.
insane teeth. I was like, and just fell in love. I get these hard eyes the moment I saw those things. It was like, oh, of course I do teeth. But those are just a few I pulled out. I'm working on a big Hellboy.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So he's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fun to. I like the big ones too because, well, it's a lot of like physical work to it. So it's kind of like a good like after work end of the day kind of release.
You take it out on the wood, not on your kids, right?
World.
I was going to
yeah,
ask you, what kind of tools do you end up using? Are there a lot of hand tools or?
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. I like this is just a knife I would use. They're just wood carving specific knives.
Oh wow.
That's kind of it. I just have like I have a small addiction to buying knives, but you know, it's like anything else, right? If you're painting or drawing, you have every marker color and you just keep
Buying craft supplies is a hobby in and of itself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Buying the
My
materials is one hobby, and then actually making it is another.
My wife was big into sewing and knitting, and she had all these bumper stickers that said, "She who dies with the most fabric wins."
That is a real contest that we're all involved in. Fabric and yarn.
Yeah, she had like, I don't know, like a storage room of yarn. I was like, she's like, well, you never know.
You never know what color you want or what style of yarn you want, and you never know when it's going to go on sale again. So might as well buy
it. That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. My thing is when you find like the pretty fabric and then you never make anything from it because you're afraid to cut it. It's like that beautiful piece of wood. Like if you get a really nice piece of zebra wood or something like that, and then you're like, I got to know that I'm carving the exact right thing or else, and then it just sits there forever. And they're like, is today the day you use? No.
I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah, not that piece.
I have a stack of wood of like just mess ups because you do inevitably screw everything up as you're doing it. So I'm like, well, they burn pretty well. So I just have
Did you have a fireplace to take care of all your little scraps and your little scrapes?
And then the soul screams out and says, no. You just needed one more little cut on me and I would have been fine.
It's always like I shave off the lip and the nose at the same time. I'm like, why am I doing this?
And then you just need to make a knife that says knee. They'll be like, come back, I'll gum you to death, So what are some ones that you've tried to do that you're like, you know what, those just are not good for what I do? Or are there some ones that maybe you're trying to figure out how to do?
Absolutely. I can't do a Darth Vader to save my life. And I get asked repeatedly. I have one here that I did, and I haven't finished painting him, but he's
not right.
I can't, like, from the side, he's okay.
Yeah.
But dead on, he looks
a little squishy.
The eyes are a little too squishy. Yeah.
It's something about it. I can't. And I've tried multiple times, and I just can't like see it in my head, I guess, as to how to do it properly to keep my style. But
yeah, the helmet seems to throw it all off.
It really does, yeah. And I've done a film in the past. Yeah. So it's like it's hard because you're not doing an exact replica of it.
Plus, he can't
You know,
frown, so you can't do the little frowny face.
what's the
And he can't
point?
show his teeth. So like you can't do eyes. Yeah.
Why would I do it?
You just need
but
to do Anakin Skywalker from the end of Return of the Jedi, when
And then light him on
take
fire.
off this mask so I can see with my
Yeah.
own eyes. You know,
And
he's
then
all
just put a
scarred up.
candlestick holder in the top. It'll be
Yeah,
perfect.
I would,
There you
I was
go.
thinking end of Revenge of the Sith, and you could just burn parts of him off.
Oh, that would be fun too. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
yeah.
you could make Darth Vader like kindling kits where it's like a Darth Vader and other cast off pieces of wood for people to take to camping.
Just throw him on fire. Ooh.
Yeah. It's the Human Torch.
There you go. The kindling
So
collection.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The flame collection. No, but I don't know. I don't know what it is about that character. I guess I'm terrible at like 2D things. So like drawing, I can't do. I can barely write the alphabet. So it's like 3D. I guess I can see it, but I have to see it in like the right light. I guess I don't know what it is, but
You have to turn it the right way. Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around this guy.
That's
Can't
funny.
do it. Yeah, it's sad because people would like to have Darth Vader, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a character I love, and we've got a love-hate relationship, that's for sure.
Have you done the Princess Leia with the buns though? Because you
Yeah.
can
That would
totally
work.
do that. Yeah.
I did a large 12-inch piece of Princess Leia soon after Carrie Fisher passed. I was like, oh, I need to do that. And I did her a full body thing with no arms or whatever, you know, like the white gown.
Mhm.
And attached these just oversized, like they look like car tires on the side of the head.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and it was great. I was great. I sold it. I made it for a convention in Baltimore one year and sold it pretty quickly. I mean, someone walked by, I was like, I need that. I was like, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Put
If you want
money in
my
my
opinion,
hand.
yeah. My opinion is yes.
I'm listening to the wood. The wood says yes too. Here, take it.
Yep.
So what ones are you trying to figure out that you kind of want, but you haven't done yet? Are there some that you've kind of been queuing up?
There's a ton. I have a running list. I have it in my my bag in the car, but there's just lists of so many things, and people show up I've got one on my phone actually. I make lists of things. So I have like my regulars. So I have Hellboy, Batman, Deadpool, Hulk. Like they all just, people love them and buy them. But what was the one I had? Someone came up to me this weekend and had it. Oh my God, I'm not. Oh, the other ones that are really popular, like Man Thing and Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because I've never heard anyone go, hey.
Wow, Man Thing.
Man Thing comic. I'm like, really? But I do appreciate it. But the list I have is, I've done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles multiple times, but I just kind of want to do them better. So
Yeah.
I've done them a ton, but I like them, but I'm never happy. I'd like to do more. I've done it like once where I've done like an actual totem. So I did I did Hellboy, Hulk, and Batman, the three ones that I saw the most in like one piece. So there's a lot that I want to do. I want to do like Avengers themed ones or JLA or something like that. So those are ones that in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, if I have time to make, because the taller pieces are just typically, they're harder to sell and they're harder to make.
Right.
But those are ones that I think I just want to do because I want to do them. And that's typically how it is. Like, I don't know if any, I always make these and I'm like, I don't know people like them. I like them. So
Well,
it's
he
like,
texted
We
me
like them.
a picture at Charlotte MiniCon. And
yeah.
I'm like, you better have gotten me the beaker. And he's like, I did. Oh, and like I said, it's one I love. I could totally
Yeah.
see you doing that nose and eye style for Ed Asner's character in the movie Up, where the grumpy old man, he would be
See, now I gotta write that down.
perfect. Because you could do the white hair kind of like Beaker's, but just put a little more flow in it. And then the
Yeah.
old man would be creating the big black glasses. But yeah, I could totally
Perfect.
do that.
Let me put that down for this weekend.
I smell a pre-order.
Yeah, and that's a really that leads us right to that. So for the Geekery market, I know that some of our vendors have been offering some pre-orders, or if people want to, like, if they see one on your Instagram or Etsy or whatever, and they want to make sure it's there, can they reach out and contact you and reserve one and pay for it in advance, or how do you
Absolutely.
normally do that? Yeah, because you said
Absolutely. Through Instagram, you can direct message through that. I respond pretty quickly because I'm always excited to get anything. So,
and on the
and,
website too, we have your article up, and I think your email address is in there, so people
it
can.
is. Yep. The email's address is on there, and then my website's got like a little contact thing that shoots an email. So there's multiple ways. Yeah, I love doing I love pre-selling. Obviously, that's fun, but
Yeah, it's always nice when you walk into the show and maybe somebody you've talked to comes and picks up that thing that you've been working on. It's like,
it was so funny. Like I did a commission this weekend of a comic character called Nexus.
Yeah.
It's kind of an old school, maybe 80s, 90s, maybe more 90s than 80s. But anyways, he's a character I've only done once before, and then this lady came by and asked for it, and I was like, yeah, I'll go home and I'll carve it and I'll paint it and I'll bring it in the next day. And she prepaid, which was great. But then when I sold it the next day, when I gave it to her, I was like, oh,
money's already in the bank.
It's for free. Like my
I'm giving away my product.
Yeah.
That's girl math. She got it for free.
I had my kids with me all weekend, and they were like, "You all right, Dad?" I was like, "Kind of."
Maybe charge them like 50% up front and then 50% at the time of pickup. So you're like, hey, there we go. I got something from it.
I'm making money. But yeah, absolutely. Pre-orders are great. Those are great. I like doing commissions too. It's really fun to do. I like it because it's typically something that I get. You kind of get tunnel vision sometimes, and you end up doing the same things repetitively. So commissions are great, just to kind of break you out of that and get you somewhere else.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Geekery market. This is your first year, and we're really excited. Obviously, we're big on discussion. All podcast here. So,
and your kids need to come too, because there's kids activities all day. No,
I don't know. I need a break once in a while.
All right. Well, kids aren't allowed. Kids aren't allowed. Yeah. If anybody asks,
I'm really excited. I can't wait. I was really when you contacted me, I was just so happy. It's fun I love doing shows. It's one of my favorite things. I wish I could do it full time, but I love meeting people, and it's just always fun to be in environments where people are just happy all the time. It's great, and creativity's all over. It's just really infectious. I love it.
Yeah, we love when we find something that, like, now listen, if you're part of the Geekery market and you hear me say your category, please don't take it personally. But it's always so much fun when we find somebody who's not a jewelry or a 3D printer or somebody like that that's doing something that we've just not seen at our shows. Like, and you are one of those people that like we have gone, because Carol and I travel around to other events throughout the year. We just don't see anybody else doing what you do.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we can bring you to our events so that our attendees can buy your stuff it's really exciting for me. It's Christmas for me because I get to go see all the cool stuff, but I don't have to find a place for it in my house other than that one. But yeah, you know, it's the best part of it because it's like I see cool stuff, I see cool people, I get to support them, but I don't have to have it in my house because it's going to go to many other homes that are going to have great places for it. And Matt is appreciative too. Although if you look behind him, you'll see that obviously we do buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Are you all read comics? Is like what's
Yeah,
your
so Matt has actually written some comics. And I've written one comic, but I haven't
really?
published it yet. And we read them for sure. We have long boxes out in the garage that we have to find place for. Yeah, so we're both into that. We're into and of course books, like as you can see behind Matt's shoulders, just those are all the books that we've just of the friends we know. Not that doesn't include all the books in the other bookcases throughout the house.
I've got a rack of comics I haven't even got into. It's just always behind. It's just
Our
every time,
TBRs
every
are
time
like
I think
this
I've read every
tall.
comic
Yeah.
book, there's 20 more
Yeah.
I've never even seen. I'm like, where was that? That's crazy.
It
But
ends
yeah.
up getting a bit much. You're like, oh, there's so and now comics have there's so many.
There's
It's not like
It's-
Daredevil and Spider-Man. You're like, wow, it's like all these self-published and indie books and Kickstarter's a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Man,
So I'll tell you, Dan, a story that I tell. So when Matt and I first started dating 10 years ago, and he told me he wrote comics, I was like, oh God, yes. And then I was like, then we kept dating and I really liked him. And I told him I wanted to read some. And like our fourth or fifth date, he brought over all the comics he had read. And then I was panicked after he left. First of all, I was panicked that he wanted me to read them while he was sitting there. And then I was panicked after he left. And I called Carol, and Carol can attest to this. And I'm like, and she came over to visit me because I was recovering from surgery. And she was like, oh, what are these? And I'm like, those are the comics that Matt wrote. And I'm so scared because I like him so much. And if they're bad, I'm not going to be able to date him anymore.
What am I going to say?
What am I going to do? I really like this guy. But obviously it worked out because I love them and I love him and we're married. So it's all good. But there was a panicked weekend when he brought them over that I wouldn't like them and I love them. So it worked out.
They're
Well.
so good.
Yeah, exactly. Now I will marry you just for the comics you wrote. So
They were so good. We made our bouquets for your wedding out of them.
we did. I went, yeah. So
You shredded them. They were so good.
No. We took one copy, we removed the staples from the center, and then we reassembled it. But we photocopied all the pages, and out of the photocopy pages, we made origami flowers, and that was my wedding bouquet. So I actually got married with his comic books in there.
Really cool.
Yes, I did not destroy like hundreds of his supplies. But true fact, he would be in Charlotte Comic Con selling his comics, and I would be out in the hallway promoting the Charlotte Geeks. And we never met until we were both single. So like after we started dating, we realized we had been at like 20 events and had never run into each other. So crazy.
I do characters for my friends' books too. I've done a ton.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. So
that's awesome.
Well,
my book is about his book. My comic book that I wrote, my child is a fan of his comic book and has a poster of his comic in his bedroom. Cool. So yeah. So they're world adjacent, right? I crashed my husband's world. I'm like, you created this really awesome world, so now I'm gonna create a character for it. So.
Dip my toes in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, Dan, it has been so great to have you here. And
fun.
we are so excited to have you coming to the first Geekery market, hopefully not the last. So if you like Dan's work, make sure you go check out Spandex Splinters. Now your Facebook page is not as up to date as your Instagram. So
my
go to-
Facebook, yeah, I haven't done anything with that in a long time. I don't
I
even
know,
know if
because I tagged you in it when I had the article and then realized, oh, his Instagram is
Yeah.
much more. But
Yeah.
Facebook doesn't
Oh,
like me tagging the Instagram. So anyway, so but go to his Instagram first, and that's the newer stuff, or go to the website, the Geekery Market website. And when you click on the art list of artisans, just find Spandex Splinters and it'll take you to an article with some of his recent pictures. So, but yeah, we're so excited to have you.
really great. Thank you so much. It was awesome to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. All right.
Bye.
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 yeah.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.